going on, guys? Coach Colin Podcast. You can already see the name of the episode. You're doing the best you can. And that's my message to you. You're doing the absolute best you can. You're doing the best you can in your relationships. You're doing the best you can in your finance. You're doing the best you can with your family. You're doing the best you can with your friends. You're doing the best you can in school, work, whatever, wherever. You're doing the absolute best you can with the tools and the person that you are right now. So you don't have to beat yourself up so much. You don't have to feel like you're not as far along as you should be. You don't have to feel that way. I know that I can't stop you from feeling that way, but I'm just here to say you're doing the best you can, man. You know? Like, as guys, there's few times where you or one of your boys will turn to you and say you're doing the best you can, but you are. And we need to hear that type of shit more. You know? You're doing the best you can. You're trying. You're trying. If you turn this video on just to see what it was, because you knew it might be something that was motivational, or you might learn something, or you're going through YouTube because you're trying to learn certain things that you didn't learn from your father, you didn't learn from your family, you didn't learn in school, you're doing the best you can. The fact that you did that shows a lot. So don't beat yourself up so much. You know, I know it sounds cliche, and usually girls holding like pumpkin spice lattes and doing yoga and meditation will say you're exactly where you're supposed to be, because you really are. You really are. And you might feel like, well, this place that I'm in is shit. Perfect. You can pull yourself out of it. You're not stuck. It feels like you're stuck, but you're not stuck. You're doing the best you possibly can with what you have in front of you. And I know slowly, whether it's from this podcast or from Eric Thomas or Zig Ziglar or Tony Robbins or some other mentor that I don't know that you have, you're going to learn more things. You're going to expand your skill set. You're going to get better at the things that you're not that good at. And you're going to get even better at the things you're already fucking amazing in. You're gonna get to where you want to be. That's if you know where you want to be. If you don't know where you want to be, that's the next step. Figure it out. When I work with guys, I always ask them, what's the ideal job? What's the ideal business? What's the ideal self? What's the ideal life? Ask yourself that shit. I'm sure you can list a bunch of things that you don't like, but what do you like? You can list a bunch of jobs that you wouldn't work for one fucking day, but what jobs would you work for the rest of your life? If it's not a job and it's a business, what's the business? You know? So I only say that to say, once you figure that shit out, and you will, as long as you ask yourself those questions. Now, just keep in mind, I'm not really talking to the guy that's sitting on the couch refusing to do any of the work, but that's not you. You are willing to do the work. You're just feeling a little down at times. You're feeling a little shitty at times. You're feeling a little beat up at times. You're feeling unheard at times. It happens. But you have it in you to do the work. You have it in you to get started. You have it inside of you. We all do. Just about when we access it. Goes back to that whole you're exactly where you're supposed to be. If you haven't accessed it yet, work towards it. Those questions that I just said before, those questions that I just asked, ask yourself those questions. And if you ask yourself today and you don't know, you ask yourself tomorrow, and you ask yourself the next day, and you ask yourself the next day, and you ask yourself the next day, until something starts to fucking pan out. Because if you keep on asking yourself, something will pan out. Something will start to manifest in your mind. You'll start to look around and be like, well, you know what? It'll go from, you want money, to you would do this for money, to you would love to do this for money, to if I could only do that for money. It'll start to form, but you have to think about it every day, right? But again, get out of here. Alarm. I have way too many alarms. But again, you're doing the best you can right now. It feels like you're not as far along as you should be. You're wrong. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And like Steve Jobs said, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back. But all you have to do is put in the work day after day, like you are now. It doesn't feel like you're putting in much work. My hand looked white for a second. I don't know. It doesn't feel like you're putting in so much work. It feels like you're not doing fuck all, but you are. It's just not up to your standard. And fucking thank God you have a fucking standard. Thank God you could look at yourself and say, I'm not doing enough. That means your standards are high. They're higher than you're performing. So if you can just get the standards that are already here and get your performance up to where the standards are, you're going to start feeling like you're on your way. But you're such a fucking badass that when you get up here, you're going to put it up here. And then you're going to have a new standard to fight for. And that's fucking amazing. Right? So I'm going to keep this one short. But I know there's a lot of guys that are suffering through shit like this. Feeling like they're not doing enough. Feeling like they aren't enough. Feeling like they're not accomplishing. Feeling like they're stuck. Stuck in a shitty job. Stuck around shitty people. Stuck on drugs. Stuck. You're not stuck. You're not stuck. You just feel like shit because you have higher standards for yourself than what you're performing to. And if you can just perform to those standards, I'm saying it again, perform to those standards, you're going to feel way better about yourself. And then you're going to have higher standards. And then you're going to have higher standards. I know because I'm there now. I never feel like I'm doing enough. I feel like the lighting's not good enough. The studio's not good enough. The job I could do better at. Wait till I'm making this much money. That like we all do it. We all do it. But trust me, at the end of the day, you're doing the best you fucking can. And I know there's even some people that be like, no, I'm not. And if you really, really feel like you're not, if you really, really, when I say that you're doing the best you can, you go, no, I'm not, then fucking do it. Then fucking do it. Go do the best you can. Put out the fucking parameters. Set out the parameters of what the best is for you and fucking do it. You're not stuck. You're not shit. You have ability. You have talent. You have a work ethic. Put it into action. Keeping this one short. I'm out. You know how to book a session. It's in the description. For now, I'm out. Peace.